Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Ode to Ghosts. I'm your co-host, Audrey.
And I am also a co-host, William.
We once again have 4 stories today. Get ready.
Wow, you
'cause
really stuck with only 4.
They are, well, you told me I had to. So,
I
I
think
wanted to tell more.
I think those are allegations.
No. I
Can
have
I
so many stories I could share.
Can I go first this time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I'm
Are
actually
we
prepared.
just going straight into it?
Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I think we should do what we're here to do.
Okay.
All right. So, the first story comes from Reddit. Do all of our stories come from Reddit today?
Besides the email.
Nope, that one's next episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Okay, great. So this one comes from Reddit, the subreddit Paranormal Encounters, and it was sent in by you/Alicia or Alicia. I don't know which one it is. D84. And the title is The Night We Heard the Growls.
Ooh, I have a very similar one.
Is it the exact same one?
No.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you prepared to be spooked?
I am.
Are you, the audience, prepared to be spooked? Well,
I'm so excited to be spooked.
You don't really have a choice. All right, here we go. Good evening, fellow Reddit users. My name is Alicia, and I've been seeing things before I can even remember. My first encounter I can remember was when I was 4, and we lived in, I'm going to butcher this so hard, Wetaskiwin, Alberta. Wetaskiwin, Alberta. It was late one night. I woke up and my parents were having a small party in the living room. We had just moved in and didn't even have furniture yet, so everyone was sitting on the floor. I woke up and found my mom and sat with her. I was always scared to use the bathroom by myself, my mom said, so I was bugging her to come with me. She was busy talking with her friends, so she told me to go by myself, and she said she will watch me from where she was sitting, and she will make sure nobody goes in the washroom. I agreed. I really had to go. I remember sitting there in the washroom when all of a sudden there was this little girl older than me, black hair up to her shoulders, comes from the bedroom area and stands in the hallway right where I can see her, and I immediately thought it was my sister Rachel, so I began to ask her, "Where did you come from? When did you get here? I thought you were in..." Oh, this is another...
Saskatchewan.
You knew that?
Yeah.
Great. Saskatchewan. I thought you were in Saskatchewan. But she didn't respond. She just stares at me with this little grin on her face. Again, I ask her, "When did you get here? Does Mom know you're here?" Nothing. I began to feel uneasy and afraid, so I began to yell and scream for my mom. This is the part of the story I really think I got PTSD from. My mom pops her head in the doorframe and asks me while I'm yelling and screaming for her. All the while, this little girl is staring at me, still leaning up against the wall outside of the washroom. "Mom, it's Rachel. She's scaring me. I keep asking her things and she won't talk to me." And my mom says, "What? Rachel? Rachel's in..."
Saskatchewan.
"No, Mom, she's right there, standing beside you." My mom looks right at her, then back at me and says, "What are you talking about? There's no one there." I began to cry and tell her who I see. My mom says this is where she begins to feel uneasy, so she helps me off of the toilet and helps me wash my hands. By the time we are done, this little girl is gone. I'll never forget that for as long as I will live. And so that was the original post, and it was titled "The Night We Heard the Growls," and so I was a little bit confused, but
Is there more?
Yeah, she posted a comment.
Perfect. We need more.
And it says, "Okay, so about the night we heard the growl," which I thought we were getting to that. "This was just a couple of years ago. Me and my 2 kids, aged 15 and 13 at the time, were watching this documentary on the paranormal or NDEs, something along that matter. Anyway, when it was over, my daughter says to me, 'Mom, how come we don't pray anymore before bed?'"
Wait, is this a now the future? Like she's now an adult?
I am thinking so, because she was a little girl.
Okay.
And the thing prior. "Mom, how come we don't pray anymore before bed?" I had thought about it for a quick second and realized I hadn't prayed in a few months. Wait, I hadn't prayed. Okay, yeah, I understand now. I'm catching myself up. So I told them to get ready for bed, they had school the next day and we will pray. Okay, so when we pray in my house, it's always me saying the prayer and I stop for the kids to repeat after me. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this day. Pause, and then my kids repeat after me. As we were praying though, we heard this low, deep growl. It came from the living room. My daughter was coming back into the room from getting a drink of water and told me she heard it right behind her. It was so loud it echoed off the walls, so I knew exactly what I heard. My daughter comes running into the room, and her and my son both look at me with tears in their eyes, asking if I had just heard what they heard. I knew that whatever it was that growled didn't like hearing us pray. Ugh,
That's
I don't like that.
uh
So I began to pray louder. I didn't want my kids to see how scared I was, but I was scared. I had never heard anything like it before, so I just prayed that whatever that was would leave my house in the name of Jesus. I prayed for about 20 minutes when we started to see that it was leaving. When we knew it was gone by how we felt in our home, and also noticed that the light bulbs in the house were even brighter, there was no longer that heavy, heavy feeling that we all had in the house, and it felt lighter. We all slept in the same room that night. The next day and every other day after that experience, for about a month maybe, I thought about it, trying to come to terms with it. I realized that we had been living with that heaviness in our home for a long time, and that was another one for the books.
wow. That is so crazy. Everything became brighter. Oh my gosh.
I am scared. I don't think
I don't know what it is about like the growling. Just freaks me out so much. But that's also why I also chose one that involves growling.
Yeah,
But
and I asked her if she had any other information or anything or any evidence, and she just said she doesn't have any evidence. The only two witnesses are her kids, and that's all she has. But she says they remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, like it, whether or not you're religious in this case doesn't really matter, but I feel like in that situation, you're going to start calling out to something for help. But the fact that like demons are so real.
yeah. I totally get like the feeling of heaviness and just like not even really realizing it. I kind of had the same thing happen like when we moved from our old house to our new house. Whenever I was in high school, I didn't even realize how heavy the vibe was in the old house until cuz the house we moved into is very new. It was built in 2016 and our old house was built in like the 1890s. And there was like a huge shift of energy. It felt like everything was so much lighter in the other house. Like I've never been in there and felt like any sort of presence or anything.
Yeah, and even with me, like I usually don't feel stuff like that, but going from your old house to your new house, I definitely
Yeah,
could feel a difference. And also the same with our very first apartment
I
to
agree.
the one after that.
I didn't like the first apartment either. That
Well,
one was also an old building too, though.
that and you also didn't like it because
It was right up on the woods.
you lived alone for a lot
Yeah,
of it.
but
And
also this place is also up against like woods and stuff, and I don't feel nearly as freaked out
yeah,
here. So I definitely do think that apartment might have had something going on, but I didn't live there long enough to really tell.
yeah.
But I was gonna say something else and then I forgot.
It's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I we moved into that house when I was like 6 or 7, so I would have never really known any different, um, based on the heaviness. But yeah, pretty sure there were demons there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Thank you, Redditor.
Yeah, that was a good one. Should I go ahead and read my growling story too, or
Let's
should
save.
we wait?
We don't need. We don't want 2 growling stories in a row.
Well, mine has to
So,
do with outside.
but I mean, let's
Okay.
mix it up a little bit.
Okay. Well, this one also is a little demony. So, but mine's a lot shorter than yours.
Okay.
This one is titled, "Was This a Demonic Encounter?" So I think they're reaching out, asking people's advice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was posted in the Ghost Stories subreddit by I Want Closure 3. All right. When I was 4 years old, my mom, aunt, and grandpa left to go help with disaster relief after Hurricane Katrina, since my grandpa grew up in Louisiana and very much still considered it a massive part of who he was. I ended up living with my older cousin, younger brother, and grandma for a few weeks or longer since we didn't know when they would be back. One night, I woke up in my grandma's recliner in the living room, since it was where I usually slept, and remember seeing the TV. It was either on Boomerang or Cartoon Network. I remember hearing what sounded like noises coming from the hallway where the front door was, and looking to see what it was, and seeing some shadowy figure walking down the hallway. I just got up, ran up to it thinking it was my mom, and stopped maybe 2 feet away because I felt instant dread. I thought it was my mom, but it felt like something inside of me was telling me that it wasn't my mom. I just remember it looking down at me and me looking back into the weird, inky, swirling void that was its face before it said hello. I just
At least it said
immediately...
hello.
Huh?
At least it said hello.
Yeah, it was polite. I just immediately burst into tears, ran back to the recliner, and just hid under the blanket I had and closed my eyes. Then I remember waking up to what sounded like tapping on the entranceway that led into the living room and seeing the same figure. I started begging and yelling at my cousin and brother who were sleeping on the couch to wake up, but they never did. My grandma didn't wake up either, so no matter how hard I was screaming or how loud, nobody was there to help me. Then I remember seeing what looked like children start peeking over the entranceway at all angles.
Wait, say that one more time. I
Um,
want to make sure I actually heard what you said.
I lost the sentence. Then I remember seeing what looked like children start peeking over the entranceway at all angles.
Nope.
In the dark.
That like
Around a shadowy, swirly void of a figure.
that completes the story for me.
Well, there's a bit more to the story.
That's where I bow out.
Yeah, that's freaky. Sideways and upside down, I remember seeing maybe 20 around my age of all skin tones and hair colors. Then the figure I saw earlier just says hello again, and that was it for me. I just dove in between my cousin and my brother, trying to hide in between them, and I passed out. I woke up in between them that morning and told my grandma everything. I don't know how many pictures I drew, but each one just disturbed my grandma. I remember just telling her how scary the shadowy figure was and how it wasn't even a dream. The pictures she just threw away when I went to preschool that day and wouldn't even let me talk about it. I
I
know.
was
When
gonna
I read
ask if
that
we
first
had
sentence, I was thinking I wanted to reach
pictures.
out and get the
Yeah.
picture, but I remember telling my first grade school therapist about it and drew the pictures, and she just looked confused but terrified. I'm 23 now, and I still can't find answers. Thinking or even speaking about this event just terrifies me and makes me feel like something is near. The other day, I was talking to my boyfriend about it, and weird things around our apartment happened for a solid few hours. Does anyone know what this could have been? And that's the end of the story.
So the fact that not even in the same building anymore, they started
Yeah,
just talking
which
about
makes
it.
me think that her experiencing that and like kind of having an interaction with it made it attached to her. Because then,
Or it had just always been attached to her. Like even before
or
she
him, I don't really know. But um they do
they
comment, and they said something like, I've had a ton more paranormal experiences, and honestly, I think there was only one true innocent one that scared the hell out of me when I was 15. It went up to me, placed a cold hand on my shoulder, and said hello when I was closing up the school theater one afternoon after coming down from the light booth. I also have a thing where if I step into a building and just feel the wrong energy, I want to leave immediately. So she could also just be like very in touch with the paranormal.
but I mean if it's the same like thing happening, like the same hello and like everything, I think it's the same entity or whatever that just
Yeah.
like stays with
Well,
her.
on that, I just scrolled a little bit further and found another comment from them, and it says, honestly, I do think it is demonic. Weird activity happening nearby whenever I open up on this experience, and it actually taking a few days to die down makes me think it's latched on to me or it's been following me. Just haven't been able to find actual answers. So yeah, I think something has latched on to them and has just been following them
I
around
feel
for.
like I need to burn sage right now.
Maybe we need to invest in some and just have it here in case. But yeah, um so good luck to this
We have
person.
some.
Well, that's not, it's sage scent. It's not
Right, but like same
sage.
difference.
No. But yeah.
If it
So,
wasn't as terrible as this sounds, if it wasn't for the children part, that story wouldn't be all that bad. Because if this swirly guy just wanted to say
I mean,
hello,
I guess like the children popping up from all angles is
yeah, it's
definitely.
terrifying.
And also, like, where do you think all those children came from? Like, are those like other children from the house that like that demon has like somehow acquired
I
in
mean, it
some
could have
way?
just been children
Like,
that died in that house, which that's a lot of.
right.
Did she
Exactly.
say how old the house is or anything?
No,
Hmm. That makes me think it's a very old
probably.
house.
Well, I mean, she does mention that it's her grandparents' house. So I'm guessing that means it's probably a pretty old house
Yeah.
in most cases. But yeah, spooky. Good luck to this person. I hope
Yeah.
they can somehow get unlatched from this because,
I hope you can go to somebody, or if praying's your answer, or if an exorcism's your answer, or
well,
what.
I don't think an exorcism is necessary. They're not like
That's true.
possessed.
What would you do?
It would be like a cleanse that they would do, but I'm not sure of the I'm sure there's plenty of cleanses, different cleanses that there are, but I'm not familiar with what they
Yeah,
are, but
best of luck to you, because
yeah.
as much as I say that, like, I wish I had a paranormal experience so I could like say, like, I could have a story to tell. I'm okay with just being, I don't want to say normal, because I'm not
I
saying
feel
those
like you
people
would
aren't
shit
normal.
yourself if you saw children pop up around a doorway.
Yeah, no,
You'd
like
probably leave
if
and
I saw
never come
like
back.
like over there,
Imagine them all just like popping their head in at the same time.
I'm not sleeping tonight, and I'm also not gonna look over there anymore. I'm just kidding.
Why you're being so brave.
It's just Catsburg. That's all
Yeah,
we
at
have.
least all our worry is right now is just our ghost cat.
Yeah, we have. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell
I would
the
love to talk
world
about
how you
Catspur.
discovered Catsburg?
So one night I was in the laundry room and it's pretty small and cramped. But I was like squatted down in front of the dryer because I was like trying to find something out of it. And I felt what I could have swore was one of our cats like brushing up against me, like on like the side of my leg. So I turn to look and see which cat it is, and there's none of the cats are in there. So I stand up and I look around the room, and there's no cats in there. So I look out here, and they're both like sleeping on the couch. So I was like, that's weird. And then I go back and I try to like get in the same position to see if there's anything I could have brushed up against. There was nothing like in the vicinity of where I was at that could have even touched me. So it felt exactly like a cat. So I'm pretty sure we have a ghost cat.
And if that's all we have to worry about,
Yeah.
I'm completely
In
fine.
fact, I hope that we have a ghost cat because that just means we have another cat.
Yeah, I
As long
would
as it doesn't like attack us.
I
But
would appreciate it though if Catsburg didn't turn on our motion sensor light randomly.
he probably is a cat that jumps up on the counter.
I mean, at this point, I'm like over it.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately like, I'm not usually like this, but at this point, I'm just like, oh, that's Catsburg.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but yeah,
and also like there's been a few times where we'll be like laying on the bed and with the cats, and one of them will just like out of a dead sleep or like just they'll just be chill and they'll just shoot up and like stare out the doorway.
Yeah. They don't really they don't tend to stare like into corners or anything.
Yeah, no. And also like in our last apartment, which was definitely not haunted, we had Schmitty the entire time we were in there. He never, ever, ever did anything like that. And like within like a few days of moving in here, he started doing that. So
Yeah.
I think there's something here. Hopefully just
So yeah, we have 3 co-hosts. Not
3?
just 2. Or no, sorry. I was excluding us. We have 5 co-hosts instead of 4.
Yeah.
Because there could be Catsper could just be
That's true.
sitting right there right now. Hello.
Yeah.
But yeah. We love Catsper.
Yeah.
She is always welcome here.
For sure.
I was really waiting for the light to turn on in there as we were talking about.
That would have been good timing.
Did we ever determine whether or not I think Catsper would be a boy. This is just a boy cat house.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's a boy. You're really outnumbered.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good story.
Yeah. That was a good discussion piece, I think.
Do you want to see our video now?
Yes.
Before we... So this one is...
I would.
This one is thankfully a lot shorter than the Tesla one.
The Tesla one wasn't even that long.
It was just the guy sitting there being like, holy shit, this is weird. This is scary. For like at least a minute and a half.
That's true.
This one is like maybe 30 seconds, but it's 30 seconds of interesting.
Okay.
So
30 seconds of interesting.
30 seconds of interesting. Actually, it's really only like half a second of interesting.
Then why are we watching it?
Because it's going to spark, you're going to be like, how?
Okay.
So let's take a look at that.
Let's see it.
What? Did you see it?
What? Did the mirror move?
Yeah.
I need to watch this again.
What? 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 What?
That would probably be my reaction too.
What?
Yeah, even the dog's investigating. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
I know her hand didn't hit
No.
the mirror. And also, notice the mirror is facing the bed. That's just something you never do.
That is taboo. You do not. No. Absolutely not.
I don't care if you believe in that stuff or not. Like, it's just creepy.
Yeah, and like that goes like way past even like paranormal encounters. Like that goes to like that like violates like rules of certain cultures too. Like you do not. That's bad news. Last night, Dara was telling me about how she rearranged her bedroom, or her and Ethan did,
Mm-hmm.
and she was telling me about how she moved her mirror, and I was waiting for her to tell me that she has it facing towards her bed.
She would
I
be
was
the type
about
to
to
do
be,
that.
yeah, I was about to be like, you got to go move it again, but she actually didn't. It's not facing her bed, so that's good. But yeah, every time I stay in an Airbnb that has like one of those gigantic mirrors right at the end of the bed, no.
Yeah. Also,
So creepy.
we need to watch this again because somebody said in the comments that something brushes the shirts in the closet
Oh,
behind
I
it
didn't
as
even
well.
notice that.
What?
I didn't catch it.
Mm-mm.
Like
I don't know. I can't
multiple
see.
people are saying this.
Well, maybe if I saw the video more up close, I'd be able to tell. But
Here, just take this. It's yours now.
okay, thank you.
What?
Oh yeah,
What?
You saw it?
yeah.
If the camera person wasn't so awful, maybe it'd be a little bit more obvious.
No, it's actually very obvious once you notice it.
At what point?
Here, So it's like right as she moves away, when she zooms in, like right before she zooms in.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a big move too. It wasn't just like a little.
Yeah. And people were trying to say, like, oh, it's just because she jumped. But that still doesn't explain the...
No, and plus like that kind of jump away wouldn't cause enough like wind to move it like that.
Well, it wouldn't be wind.
It would be
It would be vibration.
vibration.
If you jump and the ground shakes. And then
Well,
the
I
wall
wasn't talking
shakes.
about the ground shaking.
No. But they also said we tested it, and no matter how hard we jump, the mirror does not move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's creepy. To anybody who is watching or listening who has a mirror facing their bed, move it immediately.
I mean, if you've never had any problem with it, do whatever you want. But
do whatever you want, but I'm warning you. If something happens, I warned you.
Audrey from Ode to Ghosts
Mm-hmm.
warned you that
Yeah.
something bad will happen. Even just having the mirror on our wall, like not even facing.
Where our mirror is now, I feel like is perfect placement.
I mean, yeah, it's good. I just like, I don't know.
Because I can't see the doorway in the reflection. I can't see the closet in the reflection, and it's not facing me. So
Yeah.
I love where the mirror is right now.
Mirrors really
But
freak me out.
I'm pretty sure that mirror is in the frame, the little like orange checkered mirror that's on that wall behind you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even like when I got that and put it in the
Mm-mm.
walkway because you were like, I don't want to. It's a really bad quality mirror though, so it's not like super noticeable, but yeah.
Okay. That's the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy.
So, my next story, this one, y'all are going to have to get, oh, this picture keeps freaking me out.
Oh, there's a picture with it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a picture that he found. I think it's a he. Yeah, it's a he. That he found to compare to what he thinks he saw.
Okay.
So y'all are gonna have to get mad comfy for this one because there's a lot going on in this one, and just get comfortable.
Buckle up. Grab your snacks. Grab you a Diet Coke.
Grab you a liquid death. All right, time to lock in.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm excited. Let's hear it.
I'm working on it. People don't know. I'm gonna just say this. People don't know how to like split their posts up into like paragraphs. I have a feeling I'm gonna lose my place so many times.
There have
On
been
this.
times where I have had to just give up on reading a story because there's like no punctuation, typos everywhere, like
Yeah.
too hard to
So this one is the one I
understand.
told you that, like, if it's real, it's like
Mm-hmm.
insane, like an insane experience to have. So this one also comes from the Paranormal Encounters subreddit, and it's from u/Tundra Squatch, and it is simply titled "The Creature."
Okay.
You could also call a cat a creature, but that's not what this is. I don't think.
I think if you see the title of the creature in a paranormal subreddit, then it's not just going to be a cat.
What about Catspur?
I wouldn't call Catspur a creature. I'd call Catspur a ghost.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I hope you're comfy. Let's get into it. I'm sorry. My throat's not working right now. We just had Indian food for dinner, and I'm all closed up.
Closed up.
My throat's struggling to like
Are you allergic to it?
swallow. No, not like that kind of, not that kind of
Okay,
closed up.
well,
My mouth is just very dry. I do
all right. Are
apologize.
you ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, the creature. Back in December of 2017, I was just 18 years old at the time, but I saw something that would change my life forever. I lived with my mom, stepdad, and 3 other siblings at the time. I drove a gray Chevy Silverado and was having fun burning through my savings from my summer job on gas and grass, if you catch my drift. My parents were becoming more strict on me for smoking in my truck, but I was, quote, an adult, as I told them, and can make choices for myself. They started locking the door to the house at 10 p.m. as a result, and on nights like those, I would sleep in my truck. On the night of the encounter, I found myself locked out and spending the night in the truck. The date was Sunday the 17th, and it was a new moon that night. Slightly cloudy, but otherwise clear weather. It was 20 degrees Fahrenheit or something, and decided it would be better to hit up one of my buddies to stay warmer and have some company for the night. I hit up my friend Jay, just the letter J, and he was relieved I called because he was also kicked out of his house. So I went to pick him up. We drove around for a bit and explained our crappy situations, then I asked if he had anything to smoke because I was out. He had more than we could burn in one sitting, but little did I know what we were in for that night. It was closer to 12 a.m. now, and I drove us to the base of the mountain near the outskirts of town. We lit up a few bowls, and I was ready to pass out. I had just shut my eyes for 5 minutes when Jay woke me up. Hey man, I don't think we should park here. I feel like we're being watched. Nobody's around, dude. We'll be alright, I replied. Besides, all the bears are hibernating or whatever, so we're good. Jay was still tripping and had a scared look on his face. Come on, man, let's just drive around then. I still wanted to stay by the mountain, but Jay was persistent about leaving, and now I began to feel watched too. So I started driving closer to town. I knew a spot right off of the highway on a road that leads to a few gravel fields. We would be safe for the night and nobody would bother us. Or so I thought. We drove down the snowy road and the snow seemed to get deeper ahead, so I stopped in my tracks and threw the shifter into park. I was real tired by this point and stoned too, so I told him I'm going to pass out. I turned off the truck and told him to start it if he gets cold, as I dropped the keys into a cup holder between us. I had closed my eyes for a few minutes and wasn't sleeping yet, but I had that same feeling again, like eyes were looking at me. This time I felt as if I could pinpoint where they were watching from. With my eyes closed, I positioned my gaze to the direction. What? I can't read. With my eyes closed, I positioned my gaze to the direction perception. What does that mean? Direction of
Just-
perception, maybe?
Yeah, like just moved so that he was facing where he thought it was coming
okay.
from. Yeah.
I slowly cracked my eyes open, and when my vision adjusted to the darkness outside, my reality was flipped upside down. I was so cold the ice crystals looked frozen mid-air in the dim moonlight. I remember blinking hard to check if I was actually seeing what I was looking at. It looked like a humanoid creature, darker than the surrounding bushes. It was hunching behind a bush, trying to remain hidden. My breath became shallow, and heart began to beat quicker. I became speechless as the blood drained from my face. I looked at Jay, only moving my eyes, and he was like a pale statue. His attention was fixed on the creature which was 50 feet in front of the truck on the passenger side. Jay didn't know I was awake yet, but once I knew he saw it, I had to keep looking too. My eyes returned to the creature just as it started moving towards us, crawling on all fours. It seemed very large and skinny, maybe even emaciated. It was naked, and the damned thing was hinged in the middle of the torso as well as at the hips. So it was like curved into Ugh. The long arms and fingers reached forward as it moved deliberately towards us. It was so close to the truck, maybe 15 feet now in view from the passenger window. The tall creature paused and stooped its head to look at each of us, William, with a devilish grin. This is
I
so
just have no words.
this
Like
is so crazy. We're not even like halfway through yet.
Oh my gosh.
We were rendered frozen with fear. The creature then continued its cryptic movements towards the back of the vehicle, just out of my sight. It was at this moment when I felt Jay grab my forearm resting on the center console. I think he was trying to wake me up, not realizing I had seen everything that had just happened. He was still watching it move, looking from his passenger door mirror until it was out of his view. Just as we turned to look at each other, we could see the creature now coming towards the bed of the truck directly behind us. I just can't help but laugh. Like, this is insane. I quickly faced forward as it climbed into the truck bed. My body turned into a cold statue with my eyes fixed to the rear view mirror. Jay watched the whole endeavor facing the rear window and the creature itself. The thin arms reached outward as the hands clasped the top of the bed rails on each side. Its long fingers wrapped into the wheel wells as it gripped the top of... sorry, I lost my place.
Oh
Its
my
long fingers
God.
wrapped into the wheel wells as it gripped the truck bed.
Its hands were that big?
Apparently.
Oh my God.
The left foot softly set down first as its weight then followed, along with the right foot stepping in after. My truck suspension bottomed out as the creature sat on the tailgate. Jay's grasp on my forearm turned into a death grip as we watched the abdomen flexing its strong muscles bending towards us. It was lowering its head toward the rear window, and just when I thought it couldn't get worse, it popped its face into view.
Grab the keys and start the truck and drive away. You should have done this like way sooner.
Oh, it gets worse.
Oh my God.
There were 3 flashes, each one more powerful than the last, like an EMP went off. All the lights on the vehicle blinked 3 times within a couple of seconds, the third flash being so bright I thought my bulbs would burst. My eyes were watching the light flash onto the humanoid voice. Gob. I lost my place again. My eyes were watching the light flash onto the humanoid face, revealing unsettling details. It had a malevolent, Joker-like grin with long creases on each side of the dry lips. The many teeth were mostly broken and jutting out randomly from rotten gums, with grotesque cuts in between teeth. Its nose looked like it had been frostbitten, broke off, then dried up small. The piercing eyes had sunken under its pronounced brow line. They were human-like enlarged yellow eyes with a dark iris and had many bulging enlarged red veins going to the pupils. The many bloodshot veins almost seemed to make the eyes glow red with fury. It was hairless, and the skin looked leathery and blackened from frostbite. It felt like the devil himself was looking into my truck. Jay was looking directly back at it. At this point, we finally broke free of our frozen fear state and began to both yell loudly. We were both saying, and don't listen, cover your children's ears. What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? Very loudly, apparently, as I ripped my forearm from his grip and stumbled for my keys. The truck then jolted and shook violently as the creature jumped towards the willows on the driver's side of the truck. Whew. Man. I put the key into the ignition and turned it, but it was completely dead. The dashboard wouldn't even light up or no chime sound was heard. I clicked the key back and forth, still nothing. I closed my eyes and prayed, God, if you're here,
Nope.
please help my truck start. And as I turned the key, it miraculously started, and the engine roared awake. Once the truck was on my brain, what? Once the truck was on my brain. That's what it says. Once the truck was on my brain, was trying to convince me. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the way I was saying it didn't make any sense. Once the truck was on, my brain was trying to convince me it was a bear. You're not crazy. It's not real. It's a bear. I was trying to clutch onto my broken reality. Behind my front seats, I had a bench seat with my .308 Ruger Scout and a spotlight sitting on top. My truck gun made me feel safe, but I couldn't shoot because I was within city limits and would wake up half the dang town if I did. So I got the spotlight. I had to see it again.
Who cares? If you're looking at that thing, wake up half the damn town. Oh my gosh.
As soon as I got the light, Jay was saying, no, 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 no. But I exclaimed that I had to see it. I scanned the bottom of the bush line to look for a bear. My brain crucially needed to see a bear. As I scanned with the beam of my Maximilian spotlight, it passed the bottom of the humanoid cryptid. I paused before returning the beam to the creature. Did you see that? I said to Jay. Yeah, let's go, he yelled back in horror. I'm not going to yell. I'm going to go back to it, okay?
Okay.
I brought the light back to the legs and lower torso. The long, slender legs stretched high to narrow hips with no genitals in between, just a smooth bump, like a titan. The long fingers were pointed and hung limp below the knees. The blackness of the skin reflected the yellow beam of the spotlight back to us, showing much definition of strong muscle structure. You lookin', Jay? So chill with it, I said. Yeah, what the fuck, let's go. He replied. It almost seemed like it wanted us to see it again. I slowly brought the beam up the long torso, viewing its thin, cadaverous structure. It had many pronounced abdomen muscles and stood... Co-host number 3 just sneezed.
Yeah.
It had many pronounced abdomen muscles and stood tall next to a specific branch about a foot taller than itself. I then brought the beam up to its face, and that's when my heart dropped to my stomach. This is when his heart dropped to its stomach. The whole time, the beam wasn't affecting its vision. It was looking directly into my eyes the whole time, and when our eyes met, it locked it. I'm not... Why did we start a podcast? I can't talk. And when our eyes met, it locked its gaze and took 3 steps backwards, disappearing into darkness. Instantly, I floored the gas pedal. Great.
About time.
Instantly, I floored the gas pedal, only to remember the road was snowed in ahead, and now the snow as deep as the wheels. I let off the throttle and cranked the wheel as fast as I could. Then I pinned the gas again for a sharp U-turn, peeling out in the snow. I found myself to be praying not to get stuck as we pulled this maneuver, realizing we could have gotten stuck. We got out of there and drove around until first light. Weirdly, I took us back to the spot of the sighting and smoked a bunch, and we replayed the scenario over and over, talking out every detail to each other until we became sleepy. We passed out and left the weed sitting on the center console. Later, we awoke to someone knocking loudly on the driver window. It was the mayor, of all people. You good? He asked, pointing at our mess of grass out in the open. Yeah, we're good, I said while cold starting my straight-piped Silverado. The engine roared awake, and I instantly drove out of there, hoping we wouldn't get the cops called on us. For weeks, terrible dreams ensued, and I had developed insomnia as a way to try and stop them, but I will tell about the dreams another time. The next day, I returned again to measure the height of that specific branch, and it measured 10 feet from the ground. Also, I hauled firewood with that truck, and my suspension wouldn't bottom out unless I maxed it out full of driftwood. That thing was huge. Years passed, and I studied many things related to the creature. Could be, from wendigos to skinwalkers to creatures of the Fae. I still don't know what it was, but all I know is I can still feel those eyes watching me, my soul, from time to time.
I have no words.
Yeah, I can tell.
Like, I'm trying to... I have no idea. Like, at first, at the very beginning of this story, I had thought, like, Skinwalker, but I don't think so.
I still kind of think Skinwalker.
No. I don't think so.
Okay, well, let me go through everything we talked about in our chat.
Okay.
So I just message and say, like, hey, want to use your story? Let me know if you have any other information. And he said, "Go for it. What kind of creature do you think it was? A Wendigo? A skinwalker?" And I said, "Even based on all of your info, it's hard to say. They're super similar when the intent is unknown, especially since it didn't actually attack." Then I said, "I have you as my co-host. I feel like you're a little bit more versed than I am, so we'll definitely be debating," which, yeah, sure. And then I said, "My gut says skinwalker, but the appearance you described can, to my knowledge, align with both a Wendigo and a skinwalker."
I just don't think that it's either.
He said, "Cool. I'll post more about the dreams sometime. It was a series of dream attacks that eventually led me to a place in the countryside where it, quote, lived, in a tunnel deep underground. I went for a car ride later and took a picture of the strange hill, which would later become another sighting of the creature 4 years later."
Wait, you saw it again?
The chat wasn't very information filled. Hold on. And I
Wait.
said, "What?"
You didn't? Did you ask for context on him seeing it again?
Oh, I'm still reading. Hold on, let me just finish reading this, and
Okay.
we'll go back.
Okay.
After that, I said, "Has it ever appeared in a different form, even slightly? Because if so, that would immediately scream skinwalker.
Or Wendigo.
Wendigos don't shapeshift.
Mm-hmm.
They do. I thought
So
I thought
yes,
I thought I had looked it up, and it said that they don't.
I'm pretty sure. So like with Wendigos, they can take. As far as I know, they can't like form into just anything, but they can take the form of like animals.
That's a skinwalker.
A skinwalker can also do that, but so can Wendigos. I'll Google it while you're.
And then after I asked it if it had appeared in a different form in any other way, he said, "Just in dreams. It also communicated through mind speak. My guess would be using EM waves, the same way it did the EMP blast. DNA is built like an antenna, and your brain can receive mind speak this way, I believe." This is just what he has believed and what he has formed through all of his experiences. He then said, "The person who had the encounter after me was one of my distant cousins from a town over." This, I guess, is your answer. "He was making a booze run in the middle of the night when he saw the strange tracks that he followed." I have pictures of the tracks.
Ooh.
"When he saw the strange tracks that he followed eventually to the same looking creature. His encounter happened on the hill I took a picture of, and I'll send you pics of the tracks, yo."
That is so crazy. Because you said that the hill appeared in one of his dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Okay,
gosh,
so
that's crazy.
here is...
So with the Wendigo thing, they do take forms of humans and animals. So, and I didn't realize that Wendigos can take form of humans too, which, knowing that, seems like it could have possibly been a Wendigo, because if it was so cold outside and it took the form of a human, that could explain like why it's had like frostbitten like qualities of
I
it.
mean, that could be a skinwalker too.
Yes, but like what I just read is that the features of Wendigos are long limbs, long sharp claws and teeth, sunken and glowing red eyes, smell of rotting flesh, maybe hairless or have fur, and then if they're in like an animal
So what
form.
he said, what he saw was hairless.
Yeah.
So
It could be possible that it was a Wendigo, but if it was in the same exact form twice, I don't know. I mean, I know you told him that I was more well versed in this, so I'm sorry to disappoint. I just have no idea what that could be. Like, I've never heard anything like
the
it.
picture of the track is crazy because it has like the person has their foot in the picture compared to the...
Oh my gosh. That's that is insane. Can I like see it?
Don't scroll too far because I don't want anything to get spoiled for you yet. Just look at those 3 pictures.
Okay, yeah, that third picture is crazy because I was thinking at first, I was
I
like,
forgot. What was
I
the
don't,
third picture?
the like view of like the tracks going
Yeah.
further. Because at first I was like, I'm not like assuming that this is made up, but at first I was like, well, it's pretty easy for like a person who wants to just pretend, like freak someone
But,
out
like,
to like create a track. So
stepping
that's
that
why when I
far.
scrolled and I saw that it was like a very consistent pattern of that, like it seems very much like actual footprints. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy.
So those were the pictures that was it cousin he said? Yeah, distant cousins. Those were the pictures that he took 4 years after his encounter. So that would have been 2021 because his initial encounter was 2017. And then he also said, I tried to take pictures when I used my spotlight in the original story, but the quote EMP killed both of our batteries. Mine was over 50% before the incident.
Mm.
Um, and I just said, those are gnarly. The shape of the foot is super interesting. And then he sent this as an example.
Oh my gosh.
But he said, what I saw was naked and hairless. And then I said, that's terrifying. My heart goes out to you. I don't think I mentally would have survived that.
Yeah.
And then he also sent this.
That.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Imagining that staring at you.
Yeah. Just looking at that picture
Oh my
freaks me out.
god.
Yeah.
That like jump scared me. Like usually like pictures like that
No,
don't jump scare
legitimately,
me.
every
Like
time I've opened that chat, it has jump
yeah,
scared me.
that freaked me out. Oh my gosh. That is gonna be like in my nightmares now. Like now I'm scared and I'm not gonna look towards this window because I don't know if the curtain is exposed or not.
No, it's not. You
Okay, good.
can't
Okay.
see.
But
Yeah, that is. And like I said last time, we're here to be devil's advocate and to believe that everything that is being said is true. And
yeah.
so, given that,
Yeah,
oh
assuming
my
that this
God.
is true, I cannot imagine experiencing something like that. And then the fact that they went back to that spot after, like,
And also,
I
like,
would
we're not
not.
trying to call you dumb, but you're dumb, okay? Like,
Yeah,
just
I know it seems harsh, but
some people, I don't know. Like, I understand I've never seen anything like this before. Like, I want to make sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing thing.
mm-hmm.
But if that was me, all it takes is one little glance, and I'm like, okay, let's get out of here.
Yeah, that's the whole time that you were explaining the story of it like climbing on the truck and everything. I was just thinking like the second I saw eyes or like anything at all, I would have been out
And
of
also,
there.
just something so lanky
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Ugh. But also like again, since I've never experienced anything like that, I don't know how I would react. I don't know if I would like just also freeze and just be frozen in fear, you know? But yeah, logical me says I would leave, but you
Yeah, and then
really don't
also
ever
the truck
know.
not starting.
Like, of course, perfect timing.
Hmm.
Well, you know. Ugh.
I'm really interested about the EMP thing because supposedly that's what prevented the truck from
Mm-hmm.
starting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've read something about that before, like not necessarily like skinwalkers or wendigos being able to do that, but like I feel like I've heard something
I
about
don't doubt it.
like just using electricity and like.
Well, for sure. If it's like, because I mean, it
But that's strong. It's
would
crazy.
still, like, a skinwalker is still considered like an energy of some sort, which, like,
Yeah, I guess because they aren't like actual. They're not
yeah,
actual beings. They're like.
no. So I fully believe that they can interact with and like mess with electricity and energy and like all that stuff. So I don't doubt that. But I don't know about, I'm sure Wendigo is the same thing. But
Man, oh man.
yeah. Props to you for going back to that same spot. I would have stayed
And
far
also,
away from there.
just like the whole dream thing and like seeing the thing in your
Yeah.
not well seeing the thing in your dream and seeing the location in your dream and then your
Yeah,
cousin going to that
like,
location.
because again, at first when you mentioned the dreams, I was like, okay, well, it's probably just because he had like such a traumatic
Yeah, and
experience and now
nightmares.
he's just
Yeah,
having nightmares about it. But then when you said that his cousin went to the same exact spot that his dream led him to, I'm like, okay. And then I remembered the part of the story where he said that they like locked eyes and then it just left. And it's like, okay, is that the same kind of thing where it's
boom,
like, did it latch
attached.
on to you? Like it was trying to get you to like make eye contact
It's
with
like
you
an
the whole
Enderman
time.
from Minecraft.
Oh, like a what?
I tried to be a nerd for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this creature in another dimension in Minecraft. The dimension's called the End. It's where you fight the Ender Dragon and you defeat like the Ender Dragon's like the main boss of the game, pretty much. And this dimension is riddled with these super tall, lanky black creatures with purple eyes.
Mm.
And I mean, they're Slenderman like in the way that they're just like lanky and stuff. But you like have to keep your head down because if you lock eyes with them, they'll immediately start like attacking
Mm-hmm.
you and like latching on to you.
Yeah. Because, yeah, like something makes me feel like
I don't know,
since
that
it
was
was
random.
speaking, like not speaking, but like leading him to another location in his dream, like hoping that he would go there to be able to like possibly,
Yeah.
I don't know, like possibly get him to get out of the vehicle and be exposed. I don't know.
This one's really getting under my skin. Like the first episode, I was kind of like chill.
Yeah.
But now that I have something in front of me, they're like we've got pictures, we've got like comparisons. I'm just like
Mm-hmm. I didn't like that
scariest one
one.
so far.
Well, I liked it, but I did not like it.
Yeah. Thank you, Tundra Squatch, for that one.
Yeah.
You have freaked out the ghosts. I mean, the hosts. I had to sneak that in there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm glad you're still alive.
Yeah, for sure. And again, good luck because no, thank you. All right.
I don't know if I'm ever going to recover from that.
That's something that I will probably be thinking about forever now.
Forever.
Forever? Yeah, forever. Like, I've never heard anything like that.
I really need a kitty in my lap right now to calm my nerves.
Well, they're sleeping over there.
Yeah, I know.
They didn't choose you today. All right. Moving on to
Final
the last story. So,
let's do it.
this one I don't have pictures or any cool pictures or anything. But
It's okay.
I really, really, really wanted this person to respond because when I read this story and I reached out, yeah, I was really hoping they'd respond. And I think if I remember correctly, they took a couple days to respond. So I didn't think they were going to. And I got really excited when they responded. But this one is the growling one. So.
Did you say this one was shorter?
This one's a little bit longer.
Or was it the one that
no,
you told
the
me
other
before?
one was
Okay.
shorter. All right.
All right.
So this
Mentally
one is
preparing
titled
myself.
"Something is stalking my family." Shh. Something is stalking my family at night in the early hours. Is the title. Something is stalking them.
Stalking is not good. Don't stalk
And,
people.
It was posted by valuable-doubt-2742 in the paranormal subreddit.
Thank you for your submission.
Yes. Okay. My wife and I have each independently experienced some deep-pitched growling on the edge of the light from our porch and other times where the tree line starts several feet from our front door. This only happens at night when one of us is alone.
Oh.
Which in and of itself isn't paranormal, but the growling comes from 8 to 14 feet up, each encounter varying.
Are they surrounded by trees?
I would assume so, yes. Sometimes the growling is just beyond the light where the trees aren't. This tree line is only one row thick and straps around the property. and it's there to provide us some level of privacy from the road and the neighbors. When the growling is coming from the tree line, I can't imagine something being up there because these trunks are only a few inches thick and the branches snap off in the wind all the time. But when the growling is coming from the break in our trees, the break is about 40 feet wide, there's not a damn thing for it to latch onto and be so high. This growl is deep like a lion and maybe only as loud as a medium-sized dog aggressively warning you. I started experiencing this a few months ago when I went to relieve myself in a pit outside. I heard the growl as I approached the pit and decided it was high time I fuck off. Most of the time I heard the growls, it's because I approached the darkness. But a couple of times I am well in the light and not approaching the tree line. The last time I heard the growling, I was on a walk at night by myself and decided to cut through the field to get home quicker.
That's where you mess up. Walk
Quote,
alone.
"Ain't no animal gonna dictate my movements on my own turf," or something, I told myself. I
You go, girl.
I think this is a dude.
Is it? I
Yeah.
do this every
I
single
think this
time.
is the husband. This is the husband, yeah.
You go them.
I was nearly at the tree line when the growling popped up between me and the street where there was no street light on that particular spot. Interesting, it was only ever doing this in the darkest place available. But this time, the sound was maybe a foot off the ground. Quote, "You're not the apex predator here, guy," I told myself. And that's when I smelled sulfur.
Wait, hold on. I know like sulfur is
That-
bad, but why?
It's like a sign of, like, evil presence. It's like a known thing. If you smell sulfur for no reason, there's
Well, I don't
like
even know
most
what
likely
sulfur
evil.
smells like. How am I supposed to know?
It's like rotten eggs. Yeah.
Kind of like
Like really bad rotten
like
smell.
carbon monoxide.
I don't
Or
know.
no. What is it? Or maybe it is just sulfur. Like whenever
Carbon
you're
monoxide doesn't smell like anything.
or like whenever you're in like an oil field or whatever. Is it sulfur?
I don't know.
I really got off track. That doesn't happen a lot. You can continue.
Okay. I audibly began reciting the Lord's Prayer, wrongly, simply so terrified, as the growling occurred a second time maybe 10 feet away, closer than it had ever been. I walked inside and decided I'm never doing that again without my carry piece. In my wife's experience, the growling always comes from the tree line when she comes home from work at night. She never really goes to any other part of the property other than our driveway and indoors. It's been accompanied by the smell of sulfur only once by me out of maybe a dozen total encounters between me and my wife over the course of a few months. I've walked these fields plenty of times since we moved here 3 years ago and have never smelled sulfur, so I have my doubts that it's just the fertilizer my neighbors are putting down. My toddler also has recently told me he sees a man staring at him through his broken blinds in the morning before the sun comes up. He struggles to explain much beyond that. Upon investigating the spot, someone could peer into their room, going into the backyard, which serves as little more than a weed sanctuary. There happens to be a clearing of vegetation that doesn't stand out, but happens to be perfect for looking into the broken spot in the blinds.
Children, they themselves typically aren't terrifying, but the fact that they are typically like not sarcastic, not
Yeah. Like when you
closed
hear a
off.
child say something like that, you better take it seriously. Because most of the time, like, if they're that young, like if they're like a toddler, I'm sure they don't really know like the concept of like ghosts very much, right?
I mean,
Like to the extent of like if a
like making a
kid,
joke about it.
yeah, like if a kid came up to you and said that they were seeing somebody in their room, they're probably being serious, you know? Anyways. I've seen scary things I can't explain on this sub be explained in a matter of minutes as something silly and mundane. I'm hoping you guys can do the same for me. I've tried to carry my flashlight on me more often, but every time I have encountered this thing, it's either too close that my first instinct isn't to calmly back off, or I simply just forgot my flashlight. And that's the end of the story, but I'm going to see if there's any comments that he responds, but
I just
he mentions that they're going to install motion lights and a camera outside to see if they can see anything. But considering that, like, they've only ever heard the growling when one, they're alone. 2, they've never seen an animal that could be causing the growling. 3, it's coming from, like, up high in the trees most of the time. And also for like a man to be looking in the window. Which hopefully that's not like hopefully, but like I wonder if it's a coincidence. Like what if there's like a creeper in the neighborhood too that's like coming and looking in the window?
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. But he also mentioned that they are covering up the window with paper bags in the break of the blinds, so that if there is somebody looking in the windows, they can't see in there.
Yeah, I never
He
would have thought.
said they're too far from the mountains, so they don't have any big cats in the area. Because someone did mention if you live somewhere where mountain lions are common, it
Yeah.
could be that, but no mountain lions.
I never thought about the fact that, like, I always just assumed, like, a little tree line like that, you would be, like,
Right, exactly.
fine.
That, and like also if it's such a small tree line, I feel like if you heard growls, you'd be able to see something, you know,
Yeah.
or hear something moving too, like footsteps. And yeah, somebody else had commented that like they've had similar experiences because they've heard like they know what a dog sounds like when it growls, or a bobcat or a bear.
Yeah, I feel like you could.
But
I feel like you could tell the difference.
yeah, but OP does respond and they say that all of those animals have very familiar growls and that he doesn't recognize the growl that is coming from his yard. Yeah. Somebody mentioned it could possibly be a hellhound, which freaks me out. But
Fetch me their souls.
yeah, so OP responds to that and says, "Do hellhounds ever climb/grow 8+ feet? I genuinely don't know anything about them. Are they associated with sulfur?" And then the commenter responds and they say, "Not sure about them growing, to be honest. I briefly came across some hellhounds years ago. Sulfur is associated to indications of hell, demons, and wickedness."
It's so casual. I briefly came across
I
some
know.
hellhounds.
I have experience with hellhounds.
I got to pet one of them. Threw him some bones.
Yeah. And yeah.
I
That's about it.
I don't understand how people can be so casual about stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, it would either be I never want to speak on it, or like I would be terrified to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we just decided to go back to that place
I
after we
know.
almost died.
And go back to sleep. Yeah, I don't know much about hellhounds either. I know that they're kind of like a mythological kind of creature. I know that.
Mhm.
But I just looked them up. Let
They're
me see
also
what
a
I can
kill
find.
streak in Call of Duty.
They're very... So I am familiar with like Cerberus from Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really like...
Is that the 3-headed dog?
Yeah. But I've never really like considered hellhounds as being like a actual like demon that can come onto Earth, I guess. I've never considered that. But I guess so. I want to look up and see like if hellhounds can be like invisible, if they can be just kind of like in like a energy rather than like a take a form.
Yeah. Like I personally, I feel like I could befriend a hellhound.
I don't think so.
You
What
don't
makes
know.
you think that?
Because I'm just so in
If
touch.
there is a hellhound on Earth, their last priority is making friends with a
I'm
human.
just so in touch with animals.
Okay.
Animals love me.
Okay.
And I don't think that hellhounds would be an exception.
So all I'm seeing is that they have the ability to take on the form of a black dog, but that they are just a supernatural canine that's connected to the underworld or hell or what have you. So
So are they typically just like energy?
yeah.
But
Yes.
they can.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good answer, but I'm still not convinced with like it being up high, because dogs don't climb.
Yeah, that's true too.
I'm not saying a hellhound wouldn't climb, but
Yeah. hellhounds are creatures of the night, so
That
that would
I
make
probably could have guessed
sense.
that.
Yeah, so apparently they can also take over human forms.
Why does everything have to be able to shapeshift?
Basically, it's because like hellhounds,
That's
like
not fair.
because of mythology, they like are kind of like known as being dogs, but really all they are like the guards of hell, right? So
But
like
why does
they're like,
everything get to shapeshift?
well, because if it's an energy source, then it can be
Right, but it's
anything.
not fair. How are we like the other thing? How are we supposed to know what you are if you
We're
can
not
be
supposed to
anything?
know, I guess.
I guess some things are Beth Beth left unknown.
Better left, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I got. There's no other comments or anything.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, and he responded to my comment also and said that if he wants, or that if we want more details or more, like, he said he has other more exciting paranormal encounters, to message him. And I messaged him, but I haven't heard back yet. So hopefully by the next video, maybe I can share
Yeah.
an update or something. But yeah, so
Really, man, these stories have messed me up.
yeah.
We're sleeping.
I think I'm thoroughly more spooked than I was
We're
last
sleeping
time.
with the light on tonight. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We're sleeping with something funny on tonight.
Yeah, we do every night.
Unless I'm watching Night Watch.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, a few shameless plugs. Friends, hello. We have merch. It's only one thing,
Yes.
but it's our first ever merch. It's
Yep.
on the Spirit Talk podcast website along with all of the other merch. It's just a little shirt. It's got a little ghost on the front.
Yes, but don't you worry. More is to come.
And she is going to
So-
make sure of it.
I'm going to make sure of it. I want some fun merch. I want some fun stuff for everybody. So.
But it's got a little ghost on the front. It's got Spirit Talk. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say that. It says Ode to Ghost Podcast on the back. It's pretty cool. We don't have them yet, but we have some on the way. So
yeah,
hopefully
we were
by
hoping
next
they'd be here today, but
episode we can wear them and show them
Mhm.
off. But yeah, like she said, we do plan on getting a lot more merch down the road. I'm talking hats. I'm talking mugs. I'm talking stickers. I'm talking
bumper stickers. I'm a big bumper sticker girl,
bumper
so
stickers.
don't worry. I'll make sure there's one on
Magnets.
there. Magnets.
Magnets.
That gave me a flashback to
The Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Bitch. Magnets. Shout out
Okay.
Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shameless plug number 2. We have a Reddit now.
Oh yeah.
A subreddit.
It's just Ode to Ghosts podcast, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I titled it Ode to Ghosts
I
or
think you
Ode to
just
Ghosts
put
podcast.
Ode to Ghosts.
Yeah. But if you have any scary stories you'd like to share, you can also share them on Reddit and not just our email.
Mm-hmm.
So that's up to you, but
It currently
definitely check it
has
out.
2 members. It's the 2 of us.
Yeah. It's
Um,
hard to get your name out there on Reddit.
Yeah,
but
unless you have like a social media following.
Yeah. So go follow the subreddit and post your stuff on it.
Yeah, do that. And last but not least, just because we are trying our hardest to make this happen, I love you so much. And we would just be perfect together. I'm not going to cry. Liquid Death,
Don't cry.
we love you.
I didn't have my liquid death today. I'm very sorry.
Yeah, she's got
The people who get
Diet
it, get
Coke.
it. Okay? The people who get it, get it.
It is like the
There is
worst
no reason to
soda
judge.
ever.
That is so not true.
I'm not judging. I'm just giving my opinion. This is a merc. Fifth Amendment.
And
Wait, that's not right.
what are you talking about?
I got the amendments mixed up.
First
First Amendment.
Amendment? Oh my gosh.
Okay.
You just need to stop. That was your karma for trying to shit on my Diet Coke.
It's so bad. Like it's also just
Okay.
not okay.
Anyways.
I feel like last time we ended the podcast with talking crap too. We were talking about the Cybertruck.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. I think this was a good episode.
This was a good episode.
Yep.
Also, I know I said that we're leaving, but not anymore. Thank you to everybody who watched the first episode. I
wanted to talk about this.
Because, like, I know it was on a followed platform and stuff already, but it got a little over 3,000
yeah, and
views.
that's, I mean, for us, that's very cool.
Yeah, like
I
even like with me trying to be like a musician on social media and stuff, I've never had anything.
By the way, go follow his Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff.
That's so nice.
Prod
of you.
by Will, because
Will Prod on Instagram.
Will Prod, yeah, because he works very hard on making his covers and his own music and posting it, and so definitely go follow him on there and
Or don't.
support
You can do whatever
him.
you want. Okay, but yeah, thanks everybody for supporting. The engagement was just so good on the first one, and it's only up from here.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.